The Great Escape. No, that's not a new strategy. That's not a new methodology. That's the name of a movie which was released in 1963 for famous actors back then, Charles Bronson and Steve McQueen, and many others. Now, I know this channel is not for films, it's not for movies, but for some special occasions, today is a bit different. Today, I'm going to show you my experience visiting some of the locations where the film The Great Escape, which was released on theaters in 1963, you can search it. You can search for it online, you can watch it, you have the opportunity. It's about a prisoners camp in Germany around the end of the Second World War, where a group of Allied prisoners were locked in a camp, in a German camp. The film, the shots, and the real acts of the film take place in Germany. The film locations take place in Bavaria, in around Munich, in some towns called Füssen, Eisenberg, and Fonten. But you can all Google all of these words or towns in Google. Before I continue, before I start showing the video, there are a couple of things or some points which you need to put in mind before watching my video. First, when recording, I use my mobile phone, the same one I'm using right now. So the voice quality, it wasn't so good. So sometimes there was some noise, some background noise. The second thing, there are some points from or in some towns which I couldn't reach. Some of them, or one of them, on top of them, was the scene for Steve McQueen behind a barn. That place was about 1 hour or more than 1 hour 20 minutes from the town of Füssen, which is 3 hours if you add to 2 hours from Munich to Füssen. So there are 3 hours and plus 1 hour is 4 hours from where I live. And the other thing is, this can only be reached using a bus, which doesn't work at the weekends. Doesn't work on Saturdays and Sundays. And because of my work, I wouldn't take a day off just for one location, even though it's one of the most iconic locations in that film, where Steve McQueen hides. The last point is, there are some locations in Füssen, especially when Bartlett and McDonald, those who watch the film, know whom I'm talking about. They were trying to escape the German soldiers. I didn't record all of the locations because there were several locations, like one here and then after 1 meter there. So I skipped some of, not locations actually, but some shots for some buildings, because you had one shot here and then after 1 meter there was another shot for another scene. So I ignored them because I would be recording every centimeter of one district in the village of Füssen. So I hope you enjoyed. I'll try to use some kind of now and then comparison, using some shots from the film and then shots which I took myself. Again, sorry for the audio quality in the video. I wasn't using this professional mic. I was actually using the mic of the mobile. So let's go back to 1963 or to 1944 or 45 in Germany. Here's one of the places, one of the locations where the film The Great Escape was recorded. Here you can see in the films in Füssen, in Bavaria, around Munich. So I'm going to explain the scene. Here, in this place, where German officers, they were sitting here. On the left, there was James Coburn, who played the Cedric, the Australian. Sorry for the noise, thank you very much. and there was the cafe called Suzette. So in the film there was a scene when French resistance, well, this place in the film, it was supposed to be France. So you could see in the film French resistance come in a car, they park here, take an MG42 and shoot the German officers, and then they go with the car and escape. So and of course the French waiters, they ask James Coburn to hide. So here's the place. So the German officers, James Coburn and Suzette. From that side, the French resistance came, did the job, and they were on the run. Okay, so this place, one of the scenes was recorded when Charles Bronson, Danny, the Tunnel King, was recorded escaping with his partner, I think his Lighton or Deacons or something like that. Here we can see, actually we cannot go down, it's locked, so we can't go down. Actually they were standing here, they took the boat, and there was a sheep. You can see this, the top of the mountain here, the house. I think there was, they changed the design a little bit, but that's the exact place. And here, if we go a little and look up, we are right under the scene which I told you about before, there, Suzette Cafe. So in this place, well, actually not exactly this place, but this area, there was another shot for Charles Bronson and Deakins when they were trying to take a boat. Now from this place you can see the background, the town of Fussen. It's right behind me, and it appears in one of the scenes, one of the shots of the film. Now I couldn't go down. Well, this here is not the place, not the exact spot, but to get there you have to go down, and unfortunately it's prohibited. So for those who speak German, so it's okay, but verboten means prohibited. So we tried to go down and then make our way there, but obviously even if we could go down, it would be impossible. So the thing is, in the film there were two cuts that came right after each other. The first cut was taken from this area when where Charles Bronson and Deakins first saw the boat, and from the other side, from there, from the point where I recorded the first video, there was another shot, but in the film they appeared right after each other. It was like the same scene. So that is that was a Hollywood trick. It was a Hollywood trick. One shot taken in this area, another shot was taken that area. And you can see the town of Fussen there. And in the film, they, one shot came right after another. That's a Hollywood trick, and this is one of the most difficult places which I've been looking for like several hours. I was tricked because, as I said, when I was looking online, I found some websites that showed the scenes, but every time I got somewhere, I realized that no, it's not the place. One shot, you can see the town, and behind the town there are mountains, and one photo you can see there are no mountains behind Fussen. But in one of the scenes with Charles Bronson, there were mountains. So I was saying, was it the fog, or was it some, I don't think Photoshop or AI was popular in the 1960s. Until I found a guy who explained the trick. Actually, there were two different locations that they were made together in just one scene. So here's another location, the place where Bartlett and McDonald tried to take the bus. Well, here this monument didn't exist in the original film, but they come from here the bus, let me show you. The bus comes from this way, and here is the top of the building that appears in the original film, but the color has changed, it's become darker. So the bus comes from this place, then it stops here, and here's actually where the person or the Gestapo officer asks or speaks in French to MacDonald and Bartlett, and then in 1 second he says something in English like good journey, and say thank you, and so they were caught. So that's the place. Again, this monument did not exist in the original film. Now if you go down the road, we will find out where, or we will see, it's the next video, the next scene, we'll see where MacDonald and Bartlett were actually caught. It's not far from this location. It's not far. In the film it was somehow far, but actually let's say in real life it's not very far. It's about 5 to 10 minutes walking on foot. So let's go to where Bartlett and MacDonald were caught. Okay, so this location here, actually I was a bit lost, so I had to ask some of the locals here. Actually this place here is where the person, MacDonald, hit the cyclist while he was trying to escape. And then follow. Then he actually went down the street to the end of the street where he was surrounded by the German officers and he was caught. Now, the next place is going to see where Bartlett was actually captured. So the lady said it's down there, we came from there, so would you pay attention? You know, the area has apparently changed a lot, so that's all you had to ask your locals. So, now, going down the street is where Bartlett was captured, and the lady said that, or you know, let's go, come, follow me. Here, Bartlett actually was trying to escape on the rooftops, so I'll try not to show the people. Nice puppy. So, it seems like we're not the only people. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So, here's the place. Now we will see the rooftops. So, here are the rooftops where Bartlett was trying to escape from the Gestapo. He went out, he climbed the rooftops here, these buildings, and tried to make his way here. And then he continued down the street where he was finally captured. So now we're going straight to the place where he was captured in the film. So here Bartlett was caught, and he was actually looking that side, this way, but Bartlett was looking this side. MacDonald was that side, and you can see here the building. So that's the building which appears in the original film. And here was the German officer standing, and he told him, "Your German is good, your hands up." And you can see here the same building that appears in the original film. Okay, so this location is also appeared in The Great Escape, but this time it appeared from the air. It's the scene when Handley and the forger were in the plane. They were trying to make their way to Switzerland when something goes wrong with their plane and then it falls. And you can see here this castle. It's Neuschwanstein Castle, which, you know, it's the icon of Disney. Well, of course, to get the exact point or the exact image that was captured in the original film, we had to go somewhere there, down, and then record the mountains, which is now impossible. And the tricky thing for that scene, the thing that was recorded in the scene, is actually Henry was telling the forger that that's Switzerland, where actually it's not Switzerland, it's the German-Austrian border. Switzerland is far from this place because in the original film they were close to France, or they were close to the western parts of Germany. So here in the mountain here, they were making their way, I think from that location in the air, all the way to what was supposed to be Switzerland. Again, that's not Switzerland. Behind that mountain, there's still Germany, and or maybe Austria, I'm not sure. There, and it's the same place where David Coburn was met by the Spanish resistance, and the castle was supposed to appear behind him, but there were trees, and so in the film the trees did not appear, and then they were cut. Here is another view of Neuschwanstein Castle. It's from down a little further, and I think the view here is better than being close to the castle. So you could also see it, but again, it's supposed to be from that place, but that's the closer we could get to the real footage of the video, of the film. So behind me is Fussen train station. In this place we can see some Gestapo officers when some escapees tried to make their way, including Bartlett from that side, went out from the train, and Gestapo officers were there. Actually, not a lot. Well, everything has changed, but they were the Gestapo officers. And so Bartlett was coming this side, so the officer spotted him. So one person, I forgot his name, I think Doyle or something, he tried to attract the Gestapo, to make some fuss, so Bartlett could escape. And so he was taken here, he ran. Of course now it's modern. So he was crossing the rails, the tracks actually, and he was shot there. So that's the station.
So Ellie, where are we going now?
Today we're going back to town of Fussen, and we're also visiting another town or another village called Eisenberg. So in Eisenberg there were a couple of shots or scenes that were shot in that town, and in Fussen, our last visit there are still some locations which we still need to record. I had to gather some extra information, and so now I have that information, and so we're going back there. So our first stop would be Eisenberg, and record these locations. I checked it online, and unfortunately some locations were changed. There's also another location where Steve McQueen was hiding behind a barn. Unfortunately, that place is too far, and today is Saturday, and they only have buses there during the working days from Monday to Friday. So apparently I'm not going to do it now. Maybe in the future, but it's not that. Well, yeah, it's an iconic place, but I'm not going to go that far just for one shot. So our next stop is Eisenberg, and then we're going back to Fussen.
And then where?
Well, then we're going back to Munich. If there is still light, we will see another train station, which is now abandoned, but it's in Munich. If there's still light, because apparently it's winter is coming, it's almost winter. There is light, we're going to that train station. If not, it will be next week. But that one is in Munich, so it will be much easier to reach that train station. No, that doesn't look promising at all. There's too much fog. And I'm afraid if it remains foggy, or this foggy until we reach our place, there might be a big problem showing the buildings. But even with this much fog, I'll try to get as much closer as possible to the buildings. There is one specific building, which is the church. So I'll try my best to get so close to it. If the fog doesn't become less by the time we get to Eisenberg. Okay, so that's our next stop. Next stop is approaching. See you there. Okay, so the weather is helping us actually. Here on this road behind me is the church. This is the very road that James Coburn, where he took the bicycle and went down the way or down the road to what we knew later in the film is Spain. Now, here you can see the church here and the building, and unfortunately we couldn't see, or we can't see the original building, or the old building that appeared in the original film. So it's impossible to make now and then comparison. But that's the place, that's the church that appears in the background, and this is the road that James Coburn took on his way to escape to the Spanish borders. And now let's go find out where Cavendish was captured. So here's the fountain where it appears in the film. Here's the fountain, and here I'll show you. So behind me is the fountain. Well, on the original film, here all of this place was actually grass. Now we can see that asphalt. So that's the place here, and the lorry goes from there, as I showed, and to the left. So that's the last location around. Yeah, it's dry, just dry leaves there. Nothing of interest. I don't know if there is water. Let me try. Is there some kind of water here? No. No, it's dry. No water. Okay. Here's the place that appears in the film. Now, Cavendish takes a lorry all down the road from there, and he goes this way down the road. Now, I'll try not to show car licenses because, okay, try just to go. Okay, I'll stop recording for a minute, or actually, no, we can just proceed. He took the lorry all the way in his escape, and he turns left. I'm trying to avoid showing people where there, which is now a shed for the tractors and harvesters there. At this point we can see the German soldiers where his car, or his lorry, stops here. So here, where he was captured. So as you can see it behind me, that's the very same place where the lorry stops and he is captured by the German soldiers. Now we came from that way. From that way it was the church where James Coburn passed next to. in his attempt to escape to Spain. So our next stop, we're going back to Fussen. There's still a couple of locations which haven't recorded. So our next stop is Fussen. So here's the place behind me, right there, there's a pizzeria there, is the place where McDonald was actually captured by some German soldiers when he was trying to escape with Bartlett. In the original film, you can see this building here, and you can see the comparison. That's the same building, where there, as I recorded in the previous video, Bartlett was actually that way, but in the film here, Bartlett looked that way. McDonald was here. Here it's a pizzeria now, and here is the building. And there you can see the top of the building. In the place where Bartlett was captured, it was seen, it could be seen behind him when he was talking to the German officer who captured him. Okay, now we're going to the last location where a group of escapees jump onto the train. I hope you can make it before it's too dark. That's the last video, and it's already getting dark. I hope you can make it. Let's see. So finally we are in the last location of this video. There have been several locations which I couldn't record for some reasons which are mentioned when I work or when I edit the video. Here we are in Munich now. Today is the 8th of November, 2 weeks after the first recording, 1 week after the second recording. This is the third recording. So here at this place, if you go to the right, we can see here the old station, where from there we could see some Gestapo officers coming from the station there, where some escapees were trying to make their way on the rails here. So that's the place. Actually, we can't cross. I wanted to go forward and record it from that place, but unfortunately I don't want to trespass here. It's prohibited. I don't know why. But that's the old station, which apparently is now abandoned. No trains pass from here. And if you go to the left, if you go to the other side, from this side, this one, it appears in one of the scenes where Handley and the forger were making their way to catch the train. That building appears behind them. There were some other buildings. I think they were kind of set. I don't think they were a part of the original building, which is this one. Maybe it was from the set. And so these were the locations, or most of the locations which were recorded, or where the film The Great Escape shot. It was shot in Munich, in Bavaria actually, in Munich here where we are, and in some villages around Munich, in Eisenberg and in Fussen. So that's the last video.